Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to the Winning Agendas coverage of some Twilight Struggle. It's the International Twilight Struggle League, and I've got a game here against Quagmire Trap. So, let's see if we can't get some action happening. So turn one, really interesting choice here actually, as the US. Defectors and Red Scare, probably the two best headlines that you could have. Marshall Plan, Middle East Scoring are also two that you could mention in the same breath. So short of having Marshall Plan, we'll set up. I'd still go for kind of regular setup with the US most of the time, and don't play into France. There's possibly an argument that playing into France is slightly better if you've got defectors and you're playing to headline defectors on turn one. So if we were to play into France, it looks something like this. But yeah, I still don't love this. Although, I think this is probably actually the right setup with defectors. Yeah. So I'm going to headline defectors rather than Red Scare. I mean, you can just completely hose the USSR with Red Scare sometimes on turn one. But just defectors in here I think is quite good. Oh, so hitting D-Star is chef's kiss. That does indicate to me that our opponent has Asia scoring, as does this coup on Iran. That's okay. We can coup back. We do have 2 4-ops. I would ideally like to hold on to this Red Scare for turn 2, but that is going to be a little difficult now. We don't have Korean War, so we're not going to play straight into South Korea, even though I'm pretty sure they do have Asia scoring. I think it's reasonably likely at least. I think the plays are probably to go... We want to go somewhere in the Middle East. So perhaps one to Lebanon. One to Egypt is also okay. But it does set up, like, it's obviously a better coup target for them. So actually, I think I want to use a lower ops card. So I think I want to hold on to this Indo-Pakistani war. I probably don't want to play Arab-Israeli war here straight up. So, and I don't want to play Romanian abdication because I want more than one op. So maybe it's EU on NORAD. Maybe let's go... Put away this mic, because that is not relevant. Maybe let's go 1, 2, and 3, just to make it a little harder for them to jam in South Korea. We could have gone Egypt as well, but I think this is probably okay. So they get first use of space. Yeah, I could see actually playing into Egypt here, like 2 ops. But I kind of want to get DEFCON down first. So actually, I think the play might be to coup around here. So this gives us the ability to play into Thailand, and it means that if they just play into Pakistan, our war is actually good, or slightly better because they haven't got adjacency. So, and this is okay. So they're coupping to get DEFCON down, giving us independent Reds, which is nothing. But now we're free to play into Thailand and play one into Egypt, which is kind of nice. We could have gone into Angola, but I think racing across this side of the Western Middle East is probably a better way to go. Pardon me, at this point. There's an argument for playing into France now, just to make sure that they don't get away with an easy Europe scoring. So they did have Asia scoring as predicted, so playing into Thailand there was useful. Could have taken South Korea as well for the like high risk, high reward play, but I think it is just too much to put 3 into South Korea there at that stage in the game. So, I think now with Asia scoring out, we don't want to give them Indo-Pakistani War too early in the turn is the thing. Would have been nice to play Romanian Abdication earlier, but look, this is okay. So I think Lao and getting across to Pakistan and India that way is less of a priority now. I think France is a slightly higher priority, but also making sure AI war doesn't succeed is good, and getting to Libya. So if we go one into Libya and then one into Libya and Egypt with Arab-Israeli war, that might be good. Yeah, I can see that being okay here, because that just doing this now means that they can't blow us out with Nasser. And then we go Arab-Israeli war, Egypt, Libya to make sure the Israel influence is a little safer. And then we can go France. So they did have the Korean War, so I'm kind of glad I didn't go for that high-risk, high-reward play in the end. Let's place influence first, and then AR6 will play IP war into France. So the IP war into France gives us Europe domination, at least at the moment. Influence for de Gaulle. It's nice because it means that they're not holding on to that for next turn. There is like a minor argument that you could make for playing Red Scare Purge there instead and holding IP war just so you get Millops this turn as the US player, but this is an interesting one. I think we'll play the Red Scare and try and hold the containment for next turn, assuming that we don't get blockaded, which we might. It's turn 2 after all. And we'll just try and get this Middle East scoring happening before Nasser, I think. Although, maybe headline Middle East scoring is the play, just to get it out of the way while it's even. So it could be Suez Crisis from them, but I think either way, we're going to get cooed in Egypt or Libya, and this is going to be worth a few VPs. The question is whether, I think actually holding Red Scare Purge to next turn is fine. We'll just get that out of the way. Look, they, with a 4-up, get to flip Thailand. That's unfortunate. But we know we've got, like, they might have US Japan. Oh, they play the China card. Okay, wow. So big commitment from them to Asia, which is totally fair. Like, argument, maybe we should have been in Laos already. But now we get to coup Iran, which is kind of nice. I think we'll still try and hold containment for next turn. So let's use this Red Scare for a coup. Is that right? So holding Red Scare next turn means we can't get Red Scared. Holding containment means that we get to have containment for sure on turn 3. But I think I'd rather just put containment back in the deck at this point. And I think hold the Red Scare. So maybe let's go coup with containment on Iran. It's unfortunate that would have been a good one to roll well on, just to get that access to Pakistan and India, because we are now a little more behind on the Asia race, that's for sure. Okay, and we did not get to Angola in time. So 3 ups from Comic-Con goes into Angola, just to solidify that. We'll play Red Scare next turn, so we might space Sock Up this turn. See how we go. We'll put Truman back in the deck. We'll see if they've got US Japan. With Korean War out of the way, I am like kind of tempted to take the risk of playing into Korea here. We've hopefully got Millop VPs coming our way this turn. So we've got to remember they are under Vietnam revolts as well. So, you know, them being able to spread and take these Southeast Asian countries is a little easier. So there's an argument that perhaps taking Malaysia and the Philippines was more important there than fighting for Algeria. But I think Algeria is a very important country across the course of the game. For the US to hold particularly. So it's a toss-up. It'll be interesting to see where their influence goes here. Okay, Cambridge 5. Yeah, so it does go into Malaysia. It's entirely fair enough. So I think where I will go now is probably... I don't think we want to play more into Europe. I think we'll just place here. Obviously, when your opponent has, like when the Soviet player gets decol in the early war and Vietnam revolts, you know, they've got pretty decent access to that Southeast Asian region. So I think we've done okay, all things considered. UN Intervention Marshall Plan is probably the best USSR use of Marshall Plan that's available, so that's pretty good. We won't play into Botswana this turn because we don't want to give them military operations, but we will play into Angola here to demand some more plays into Africa to try and stop them from just getting random VPs in Asia all over the shop. Also backed, so pretty strong, pretty high ups hand from them. Although I guess not so much. It's just Vietnam revolts and decol are just such powerful cards. So that makes NASA a little worse for us. So part of me wants to play NASA into Panama, but I think we'll just space this first and give ourselves the flexibility to see what we want to do in our last action round. Okay, Fidel for the event. So we might actually realign here. So no luck, but you know, worth a punt, I think. We got the Millops VPs, and now we get to purge our opponent, which I think is pretty good. We've got US-Japan Pact 2. We don't have Korean War, so we unfortunately can't play quite so heavily in there. But let's go with this. They've got de Gaulle. I mean, thankfully, this makes it a little hard for them to take France, but unfortunately still they can. Possible that overprotecting France was more important there than Cuba, but they had to redraw de Gaulle. This sucks. I'm actually pretty unhappy about this. At least we've got the ops to be able to jam back in there, but it does really annoy me. So they don't have the China card. It's just a matter of, do they have another 4-op here? Okay, CIA created, which we will look at their hand. We'll keep the Suez Crisis for the end of the turn. They've got Truman Doctrine. We've got to keep that in mind in terms of finishing off France here. So they have 4 more plays and 5 more cards. Okay. Is NATO in play? No. No NATO. Okay. But no Korean War, crucially, as well. No Korean War, no Asia scoring. 5-year plan, meaning that they're going to have to effectively play Truman Doctrine this turn, so we can hold the Europe scoring for our last AR. They can't space anything except 5-year plan. Okay. So we'll attempt a coup on Angola, I think. Or Zaire. So Angola lets us threaten the South Africa rail line, which could be okay, but does also give, again, them the possibility of getting Millops. So I think I like Zaire better. It's also less susceptible to the USSR mid-war cards. So we'll take that coup. Cool. So we can actually like jam them a little bit in Eastern Europe here, except that we've got Warsaw Pact. So we could space Warsaw Pact. We could do something like play into France, and so we could place influence, play into France, and then it's just too hard, I think, with them double over protected for us to get in there. I'm just trying to think about ways that we can incentivize them to play De Gaulle and Reds go CIA. Yep. To play Truman earlier in the turn. So they've only got 1-ups left other than this 5-year plan. But yeah, short of playing a 4-up, I mean, we could play the China card in there, but maybe we do that next turn, just because being able to kick them out of East Germany here, and it's pretty hard with Suez Crisis. Like, we'd have to go place influence with this, place influence with EU, and then they'd have to play Truman Doctrine. They can still space 5-year plan and hold Truman Doctrine, I suppose, can't they? So if they go special relationship, Olympic Games, space 5-year plan, they get to hold Truman Doctrine to next turn. Yeah, that's a bit... It's not the best. Let's just go 1, 2, 3, or trying to think whether we want to also try for this South Africa realign at some point this turn. Pardon me. I think I'm probably getting a bit too cute, and we can just chill on this for now. We'll just put the ball back in their court, see what they want to do. Because we'd ideally rather not have to space this Warsaw and just be able to space this Suez Crisis. I think any kind of shenanigans to try and get into Eastern Europe's just too hard when they're double overprotected, even if they are under a Red Scare. So there's no Arab-Israeli war for them. But again, like, we'd rather not have to do any other shenanigans. Yeah, it could have been Jam North Korea, actually. That was probably worth thinking about. So we can place 1 into... We can flip Angola, or we can place 1 into Thailand and here. And then they have to overprotect Thailand in order to stop us flipping it. I think that's probably okay. So, okay, and they've got 3 more plays, so we'll just see. I mean, ultimately, I think they are going to have the opportunity, to hold it. So they are just going to go to space. I think there's just no way that we can force them to play Truman Doctrine before we retake this, since they know we have the scoring card. And since we have Warsaw Pact as our only remaining playable influence, I think this is the right way to go. So 1, and then it might even be overprotect France, but I think it's place 1 Israel. Yep. Let's take Yugoslavia to take their Greece access. And Europe scoring. And then we get to space this Suez Crisis, I think, rather than playing the Warsaw Pact. I just don't think that it's going to be worth our while playing this Warsaw Pact here. Let's overprotect France. So we'll space that. It's a fail, but we get a VP there. Alright, so having Middle East scoring ourselves is okay. Do we want to headline Ask Not and get rid of a couple of bad cards? I don't think so, because we've actually got some decent cards here. It could be headline Brush War and take Iran if possible, just because Thailand is way too difficult for us to take at the moment. Yeah, I don't mind that. It does give them a coup target, actually. It means they get a chance to coup it back, so it's not so good. We've got one small step in case they go to space first, which I'm pretty happy about. I mean, I could see Ask Not here and just get rid of the Middle East scoring. There's an argument for that. But we can also turn Middle East scoring into a domination for us if we are going to brush war around. We can always just Ask Not it also later in the turn. It's just that we don't really have any other headlines is the problem. Like, there's literally nothing else that I want to headline. Maybe it's good to get rid of it and just to brush war around anyway. Just to headline this to refresh our hand because we have so many bad cards. I think we go for that. Okay, this worked out alright. We'll give them Warsaw Pact. Oh no, we go first. Okay. It's not so good, is it? Oh well. 2, 3, 4, 5. And we give them Flower Power. Which unfortunately is 2 VPs from the Brush War this turn. And our hand probably got worse from that Ask Not, but that's okay. At least we can redeploy some of our efforts to elsewhere, which may be Panama, but it may also be Angola. We'll see how we go. So place influence in, I think, Mexico here. Because I'm just a little scared of going South Korea still because of Korean War. But I do think Brush War Iran still has some legs. So that's going to be okay, but we got rid of Middle East scoring. Yeah, unfortunately, keeping that Middle East scoring would probably have been better. I mean, it all depends on whether our brush war is successful. So, okay, Africa domination. I think we'll just counter that with coup Sudan. Because I'm pretty sure I do still want to brush war Iran. Okay, that being gotten rid of is nice. Okay. So I think brush war Iran here is okay. A couple of VPs from Flower Power, a couple of VPs from Central America scoring, but come on. Yeah, that would have been good. Would have been a bit of access, bit of relevant access. I guess we could have not gone Nigeria or Panama if we thought they had those scoring cards. Panama probably a worthy consideration as well. But let's just go with arms race. We have more military operations points and have met our requirement. So that'll do for 3 VPs. And then we've just got Sadat and a couple of random plays beyond that. Okay, so I think first up we'll go... I would have liked them to succeed there. One of those rare moments where you actually want your opponent to succeed. So 1, in South Korea, just because it's a VP that's pretty useful for us. And then I think we don't want to give them a good coup target though here, do we? Maybe we'll just place one with Summit then in South Korea. Because I think if we go 2, we want to go Cameroon and Saharan states at the same time with Cambridge 5 or One Small Step. Okay, this is handy. So keeping maximum operations in our hand was actually good there. Cleared us out, and it looks like they might have Africa scoring for their last AR here. So do we want to break their control of one of the battlegrounds? I don't think so. I think we'd rather just go in here. We probably want to actually hold One Small Step for next turn to just try the same thing that we were thinking of trying this turn. In which case we want to go the other direction. We want to go here and here. The question is whether that One Small Step play is better than getting more presence into South America, which it's probably not. Probably rather just hold Sadat for next turn, even though that does deprive us of that One Small Step opportunity. Okay. Well, that does kind of change things in that we probably want to get to Argentina so we can go to Uruguay to threaten the realign, but we're probably going to get coup in Venezuela unless we can do something about it. I still like holding the One Small Step because I like space 3 a lot, but Sadat is just not that important given where the Middle East is at as an event, having discarded the scoring card this turn. So let's just go 1 here actually. Okay. Puppet Governments is not bad. Gives us a decent chunk of access to Pakistan and India. So it can give us either Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, or it can give us Pakistan, India, Saharan states, for example. And I think going there when we know we have IP war is probably pretty good. So the other option is containment on nuclear subs. Nuclear subs also very good here. So lots of options with this hand. Got to deal with this lone gunman, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge. So containment is better because it lets us space lone gunman. I think that means that's probably the answer. And then puppet governments after that. Yeah, I think that's right. It's unfortunate though because our events are all very good. But I think the ability to space the lone gunman just kind of tips it over the edge a bit. Alright, so 2 VPs from Nixon. Now we get to puppet governments or just place a lot of influence. I think we just want to go 1, 2, 3. So I think they've got Africa scoring. Overprotect Zaire, I think. And then we're just not going to event nuclear subs this turn. It's just too much of a tempo loss, and we want to use puppet governments to try and actually take India and Pakistan, which means we also need some playable ops. So this actually worked out okay because we can go puppet governments 1, 2, 3. Because I think that's the best use of our time. Yep. Now if they're playing to Pakistan, we can actually IP war if we want, but we also might not want to. Like IP war's worth 3 operations points here, and we might want to actually save our coup for elsewhere. See how we go. Your intervention, okay. Intervention AFP, 3 into Pakistan. So do we IP war or not? We could. The other alternative is to go 1, 2, 3. And then what are our plays from there? Then it's trying to realign. Realign Chile is okay from here. But we don't have any other great realigns to follow it up with. So what are the other options for us? The other option is to take the 1 in 3 on Pakistan. Not super crash hot on that. I think I like this. Given that we control the war for now. Southeast Asia outstanding means in Burma's probably a decent target now. Maybe should have held the nuclear subs because maybe that actually is our headline next turn, but we'll see. Okay. So they go Africa again. I think now is the time when we go 1, 2. Where does 3 go? We actually kind of want 4. So I think we give them 3 VPs from OPEC here. And go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we've just got a lot of good rail lines that we can try. So we say, sure, if you want to coup us in Africa, then you give us good rail lines in South America. And then we just are really hoping that they go to space first so that we can get here. Let's see what they've got. A coup. Okay. Okay. So, do we take the South America rail lines here? And let them have 4 there. I really am tempted and I think I want to. So let's go 1, 2, come on. Oh, come on. That's it. All right. So we've got domination and we get to threaten even more. Southeast Asia scoring annoying. I think we want to last AR this Indo-Pakistani war just in case. So, oh, we actually want a space link gunman. Hang on. We can headline the IP war, that's fine. So let's go space first. Space, because that might incentivize them anyway. So space, lone gunman. All right, well, now we know that we're not going to be able to one small step. So that makes up our mind for us. So we can headline this IP war. Place influence with 1 small step. 1, 2, and 3 to Brazil? No. I think it's 3 here. No, that's not right. Because then they get to coup that. So 1, 2. I think it's 1 there because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can actually, if we take Burma and Afghanistan, we can level things up a bit there. I know we lost Milospo doing it that way, but I think it's all right. Junta's pretty good. We're in this funny position where Junta lets us... Ooh, lots of things are good here, actually. Suri's pretty good. I think Asuri later in the turn could be the way to go. We've got rearguards as well. We've got bear trap as well. But I think it's Junta and coup. So Junta 2 into Brazil, coup Panama. The other thing obviously is Junta's still good later in the turn. So maybe this is actually one where we don't Junta, where we actually bear trap and then coup Africa. I think that's right, because then we get to Junta for realignments, which is actually more what we want. Okay. And we get to see if the bear trap works before we... Oh, chef's kiss. So now we can China card and take the China card back, which is a bit less ideal. Or we can just put 3 with Usura River Skirmish in there. Which is actually also not ideal, because I would really like to think about using Usuri for the event at some point this turn. So what if we just go like that? It does leave Italy a little vulnerable, but I think that's okay. So the other option is to go like critical aggro here, which would be to go like 1, 2, 3, 4. But then that still costs us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if we were to play the China card, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that's good. Do we want to take North Korea, though, is the question. Yeah, I think so. This looks okay. It's a bit high risk, but I think it gives us something amazing if they fail another roll on the bear trap, which is kind of where you want to be. Because we've also got rear guards to help us both in Africa and with these Southeast Asian countries. So we can get some decent stuff happening this turn. So I'm going to also think about going Haiti with this kitchen debates this turn, assuming that it doesn't turn into playable, which I don't think it's going to, although it might if we do take back those 2 European battlegrounds and the 2 Asian battlegrounds, but let's not count our chickens. Yeah. So interesting to think about the rest of this turn. We've got obviously the Junta and the rear guards. Which we want to play for the event. And then we've got Indo-Pakistani War, Latin American Death Squads, which we might play for ops. And the China card, obviously, which we might consider playing as well. Although if we play the China card and either hold, 2 of these, then that's not so good. Okay, so they're out of the bear trap, which now means I think we want to give them the coup rather than, or do we want to take the coup but then we lose Italy? I think maybe the giving them the coup and then saying, okay, you can have another African battleground, but we're going to threaten to take Asia is probably the way to go. So I think let's go like this. And then say, okay, you can have the coup, and then we get to flip these 2 Asian battlegrounds, or you give us the coup. In which case, we'll probably coup Angola, since Nigeria is a better target for the colonial rearguards. So whilst that might seem like it was a bit jumbled in terms of order, because we could have had both Europe and the coup, I think we'd rather have the ability, if they'd failed again on the bear trap, to go Asia. And then do one of the others without them having a response. Whereas now we got to do Europe, which I think was the highest priority because we didn't want to give them Italy. And we still give them this fork of, do you want the coup or do you want to lose Asia? So they want to go D-style. Interesting. Fair enough. So let's go coup now and then junta. Or we could junta, but I think I'd rather junta and realign later. So I think I'd rather coup now, which means we coup with Indo-Pakistani War, which is unfortunately worth 2 VPs, on Angola. We roll terribly. And now we're a little sketchier on this colonial rearguards, unfortunately, and also a little sketchier on this junta. So that was a big 1 that we rolled there. That was really unfortunate because that was actually domination for us, was it? No, but we would have been ahead on countries. Okay, so we're a little late on this rearguards now, so let's just go with the junta. So we'll play there, we'll realign here, and we'll realign here. Good. So the junta mid-turn did work out. One of our ploys this turn worked out at least. Yeah, the D-star was good for them there, letting them respond to lots of our threats and create another threat of their own, but thankfully we had the junta for the tempo response. So now we're in okay shape, but you know, the board's not looking ideal. Okay, so they get back in Chile. Now we get to rearguards them. So we can go 1, 2, there's a reshuffle happening next turn anyway, so this is all still important in terms of country count. And in terms of trying to flip these 2 regions, if we can. Okay, well, they had pretty interesting. So if we tried the rail on South, on Chile, that could have been good for us, but it's okay. Let's go here, because I think it's actually slightly more important. I guess we could have played the China card there, but or we could have quagmired ourselves, but again, I think both of them are pretty bad. Okay, well, I can kind of see quagmire here, but I think it's pretty bad. It's worth a lot of VPs though for us to do it. I think I'm gonna do it. Like, it's awkward, but it's worth a lot of VPs. And we really can't. I mean, we're giving them the Italy coup unless we can change DEFCON in the headline phase anyway here. But yeah, I think we're gonna do it. So let's ABM treaty, or we will bury you. I think even though ABM treaty doesn't degrade DEFCON, I think we might just place influence in Italy, so let's go with that. Okay. So Shea on Saharan states and Uruguay or Peru. All right. Oh, it does. The ABM treaty does degrade DEFCON. What am I talking about? So this on Thailand is not the best. This on Pakistan is okay. because that gives us a third, and then we can push for a fourth. Yeah, I think we have to go here. So we lose the ability to realign Chile, but... Oh no, they go Uruguay instead. Okay. Interesting. I guess they're going to take 2 coups here and just go for it. No. Influence in Italy. Okay. We will bury or decol? I think decol. We're out? Okay. So now if they take Italy, then we can coup Thailand with we will bury you. And that might be the way to go. The other option is to actually place 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's actually the way to go. Yeah. So trade 5 for potentially 5 there, if they can hold on to Italy. Okay. Do we take Japan? I think we do. I think that they have Cultural Revolution. Do they? Okay, so that's annoying. We've evented Usuri and Nixon has also been evented, so we can't actually get back the China card. But I feel like if the China card's going to be worth a couple of VPs here, then maybe it's worth us jamming. Let's see. What can we do? We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We haven't got heaps to follow that up with. And that's only worth 1 at the moment, but it's worth 2, 3 if we can hold on to it. The other option is to just take the 2 VPs from Afghanistan and Japan, but I think I prefer this. Like, they may have US-Japan pact here. And we have a couple of VPs to follow this up with, so... Sorry, a couple of ops to follow this up with, so we can just see how we go. I assume that we're going to see some Africa realigns here on Zaire and Nigeria, but at least we're making some positive plays to make them pay for that in terms of tempo. Interesting. Okay. So they had the sick read on us, unfortunately, that we didn't have another 3-up, but we have got 2-ups. So let's go... we kind of want defectors for next turn, actually, don't we? Let's go Portuguese Empire crumbles here and here. Although that gives them Europe scoring, but then we get to take North Korea. I think I'm okay with that as a trade. Because they've got access to Turkey and we don't. So I think we're going to lose that race anyway. And I'd rather just have North Korea if they want to play Europe scoring here. Or is it better to play Camp David Accords? I think it's probably better to play Camp David Accords than hold defectors, actually. Let's go there. Now we can go Asia scoring Camp David Accords, or we can go Asia scoring Brezhnev Doctrine headline Camp David Accords, which I think is probably better. We can't afford to take that risk, so we've got to take that out of the way. And now we can Brezhnev Doctrine somewhere. Where do I want to Brezhnev? I think we'll go... so we could realign with Brezhnev. That's not maybe too bad, actually. I think rather than placing, let's just realign here. So it would have been nice, I think, to be able to realign Cameroon as well, just because it protects both Zaire and Nigeria. So maybe we do that, because I think this leaves Chile in a pretty powerful position. Only one, but that's okay. Better than nothing, I suppose. Okay, so let's headline Soviets shoot down KAL here. That is just a sweet, sweet headline. And then we've actually got kitchen debates live too, by the looks of things, which is a nice cheeky couple of VPs. We'll see. Hopefully Ortega goes by the wayside. So where do we want to place? I think we probably want to place in Italy, or do we want to realign? So let's see, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4, or we can realign, or we can what else can we do? Take some more countries in Asia, doesn't seem amazing. We can place into like Botswana and Chile. That's probably better actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. I don't know. I feel like we need to fix up Europe at some point. But this is decent. What does it let us do? Well, what's the most... I'm just trying to think of the most proactive way. This is like pretty crucial, this play here. So we're going to Camp David Accords this turn, which means that we want to, you know, be taking these countries, but hopefully, well, that's assuming that we don't get our Camp David terrorism here. I think it's better to just place here than realign.
As long as this scar of a wall is permitted to stand, it is not the German question alone that remains open, but the question of freedom for all.
So we can like go 1, 2, because I think we want to protect North Korea. Is that better? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then coup. I think that's okay. Although, no, it just gives them the better realign on Z. That's not the way to go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're already out on countries there. That's fine.
The totalitarian world produces backwardness.
We've got to be careful of blockade though, if it's not already gone. No, it's still in the deck. Okay. Gee, I'm really... so many options here. I mean, realigns, I just don't think are better for us here. Maybe we just solidify South America. Yes, well, that's good. So maybe, you know, Africa could be a bit of a problem if we get realigned here, but it was so tough. I think we're happy to just coup a couple of countries here and try and set up this Central America realign, because now we get to space this liberation theology. Event this, event this, event this. Doubt. Yeah, let's just get aggressive here. Event this. Try and get some Europe stuff happening. Probably going to be holding this. Spacing this. Whew, this is tense. It's really quite close. Okay. So I don't think we can Iran-Contra scandal right now because we've got these issues in Africa. But if we go 1, 2... Nah. I just still don't think it's the way to go. I think it's things like this and then just go Middle East. Is just more solid than trying to deal with this Africa stuff. Yeah, so here comes those Africa rail lines. Okay, so now we've got the choice of Kuzair or just like 1, 2... where's our third go? I think it's probably Europe. But we're also going to want a coup for this. So the other option is coup Cameroon, but I just don't think that's the play. Just where's our most aggressive move? So Sadat's still out there, which is what makes me reluctant about Egypt, about committing influence there. I think maybe it is Canada, as awkward as that is. Now it's Ivory Coast. It's almost only Ivory Coast. That's right. If we do get realigned out of Nigeria, at least we have access. That is better. So we'll probably space Liberation Theology. Let's say we've got 4 plays left. Okay. So that means we're probably going to have to eat Marine Barracks bombing. At least kitchen debates are still live. We'll just take those VPs while we can. We'll space the Lib Theo, and then I think we'll coup with Iran-Contra on Haiti or Nicaragua. It doesn't matter now that Ortega's out of the way, but let's go with Haiti. It's just something nerve-wracking about killing Nicaragua. Although it does protect our Costa Rica situation from realignments a little better. To coup Nicaragua. And since it's unlikely, since there's no USSR equivalent of Star Wars, I think we're probably safe queuing there. To influence in Saudi Arabia. Not bad. Let's just hope some more of these powerful US events come our way. So we'll space this. A failure, unfortunately. Our space program really hasn't been the best, has it? And there comes the Sadat. Nice. And now we get the coup. So AR6, let's trigger first. We get to remove 2. And we get to replay into Lebanon and somewhere else. So we'll go into... maybe we'll just take Libya. No, I think that's not right. I think this is right. Maybe they coup Libya on turn 10, but right now we're in okay shape. And really the only coup targets they've got are Ivory Coast and Costa Rica. Oh no, yeah, that's not a bad one. Sure. And then we will coup Nicaragua, I think. Maybe we coup Africa, but no, I think it's Nicaragua. Because just realigning them out of Cuba is just really important for us here. I know protecting Nigeria is good, but look, they're all good coups. Colombia, Cameroon, Nicaragua. Okay, so let's think this through. Marshall Plan doesn't do heaps for us. Junta does a bit for us. I think it's probably Junta. Missile Envy's okay, but it's a bit risky, although Soviet shoot down is out of the way. But we've just got 3 4-ups, which is nice, so we can push those towards the end of the turn. We can headline duck and cover, but again, it's a little on the risky side. I think we just headline Junta. Okay. Blockade, we will get rid of. So what do we place to? I think we'll go. It's a tough one. Do we place in Haiti and then coup, or do we just place in Panama, coup Panama? Maybe we place in Haiti, coup Panama. I think that's right, actually, because we really wanted a great DEFCON there. Well, that worked out well. What do we want to discard? I think we want to discard duck and cover just because it's worth fewer VPs. Sorry, fewer ops points. So, 7 ARs left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's try realignments here. What do we have? Any other? We've got Saharan states, which is not great. So I think it's actually realigned with Missile Envy, or it's coup Colombia with Missile Envy. Either way, we're going to miss out on our AR7, which really sucks because of that blockade. No, I think it's realign here. Cuba. Come on. That's the way. All right. So now we've actually got a fair number of VPs hanging for us here. We can get to Cuba and Libya. Nice, we'll take the one in Canada. That's not a bad freebie here. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, we'll go Libya actually. So place one there, and then place influence 1, 2, 3, 4. I've just said that I'm doing Libya. I'm going mad here. Place influence 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the way. Okay. Cool. Now, how are we going to manage this? We need to go Europe. So what have they got? Europe, Africa is 9, and we've got 13, 22. So we're significantly ahead here. And we do have 3 playable 4-ups. And there are a lot of 2 regions for us that are decent scores and 1 region that it's a decent score for them. So it's unlikely we're going to get to War Games unless they have South America and Central America scoring properly. So I think we probably need to do an intervention this lone gunman next. I'm just trying to think if there are any other hand size reducers, but I just don't really want to take the risk. So I think it's coup Colombia with this. Play event. Attempt coup on Colombia. Just because it's worth a couple of VPs. Spacing AFP for a blank action round, which is cool. So now we'll play into Panama. Sorry, into Costa Rica, because it gives us the good realign in Panama as well as with giving us the domination. So we'll go 1, 2, 3 to even up Europe. And I think 4 to overprotect Chile, because then we're overprotected everywhere in South America. Then, so we're overprotecting South America. It's just about whether these ops are going to be enough really for us to keep Europe even, I think. We can also break them in Iran. I think we're in a good spot here. I think I'm feeling good about this. I mean, obviously it depends on what cards they've got. If they've got Africa scoring, that could change things. US-Japan's good for us. And that play is really great for us because that's more VPs for us over there. And it's more for us here. 1, 2, 3. And we might overprotect Cuba. Yeah, I think that's okay. I think we might have this. Unexpectedly. I felt like we've been behind the whole way, but this turn 10 hand was an absolutely incredible 4/4 ops. And lucky we had that UN intervention for the lone gunman, otherwise we would have been in a little bit of trouble. We spaced it the first time round, didn't we? Yeah. Off the containment, so we drew it twice. Oof. That's what we get for playing Kennedy, I suppose. Alright, so we can jam them in. Unfortunately, they're overprotected in Europe, which is a bit of a problem. So it's hard for us to deny them that. So we're going to have to just kind of, they've got 1 AR left, right? Yeah. So we're going to go 1 for domination. We can deny them that. 2, 3. And then where's our best 1-op play? So they can't break us in the Middle East. Oh, they can't. Yeah, they can't break Egypt. They haven't got adjacency to our others. Oh, they have to Israel. So I think it's that. Unless 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think it's that. So they could have a 4-up. It's South America scoring. Okay. That's a good one for us. We'll pass. And then... Oh, that was turn 9. Show that. I was getting prematurely excited. But I think we're still there. Well, this is going to be the most hilarious commentary ever. That was only turn 9. Oh my gosh. I was playing it like it was turn 10. Well, this hand is slightly less good, but still okay. We're not going to get to Star Wars for the good version. We do get to tear down this wall though, which is pretty good. So let's just headline that. So it could be coup Italy. And obviously depending on what they headline here, it probably is. Yeah, I think we'll just do that because I think realigning anywhere else is just not really worth our while. Give this a go. Come on. Good roll. Not great, but decent. Alright, so we put ourselves in decent shape to win the game, but it was only turn 9. So let's hope that we can stay in decent shape here. Iranian hostage crisis shouldn't do us too much damage. Reagan bombs Libya, doesn't do anything for us. They repair their South Africa, which is entirely fair enough. That was a pretty terrible play in retrospect. Let's coup Nicaragua, I think. Or maybe it's coup Cameroon. Yeah, I think it's coup Cameroon because if we got influence there, then we can play into Zaire. And it protects Nigeria a bit, but as it was, we didn't get there. I can't believe that was turn 9 and I didn't even realize. This is going to be some hilarious video content. Nonetheless, I mean, the good thing is that it was really only that last AR play that kind of injured us thinking that it was turn 10, because everything else was totally fine to do earlier. Right, well, that's a good roll. And unfortunately protects Panama a little bit and causes me to be a little nervous about my non-battlegrounds. Sorry, about my battlegrounds. Do we want to coup with Glasnost here in Africa? I think we might just save that to go for control towards the end of the turn there. Let's just play South African unrest here. And then I think we'll play into here. Nah, this is not very good. I actually think it might just be coup here on Nicaragua. Oh no, we've already couped. We've already got Millops, and that is not correct. I think if we get them cooing, that's probably okay. So let's go there and overprotect there, I think. We've still got space 2 ops, so I think it's probably space this, hold this if we can. 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. I was gonna say we could event North Sea Oil to bank the extra action round, but I think pushing's not a great action round to be banking. And we are giving them a couple of VPs with Glasnost potentially. We should probably play Glasnost sooner rather than later, actually, just in case they do play the Reformer. So they can't have Europe scoring. So we can coup Panama, or we can coup Zaire. I feel like coupping Zaire is better just because it's better EV. And it neutralizes Africa. Like, I mean, going for control there is good, but assuming that we get to play last here, we might be able to jam them in Europe. Okay, there's a chance we can jam them in Europe here now. We can actually go for domination in Africa too. So we can go 1, 2, oh, that's too hard apparently. We're too far behind. So let's just space this. Oh, we could have just held that, I guess. I mean, it's space that or pushing. We were probably going to space one thing is better than giving them that. Wow. That's astonishing. That's some Hail Mary relines there. I guess queuing Nicaragua was the play. +0? Yeah, the first one was a +0. I guess that's reasonable. Relining a +0 there. So now we'll just try and realign them straight back. Out of Cuba, I think. Maybe we don't. Maybe we... Yeah, I think we do. Yeah. And then we'll see where they go. AR7. We could have just jammed it to Cuba. It was probably better EV, actually, than trying those rail lines. Jam into Cuba or jam into Italy was probably the right play. Because just having a blank action round was terrible there. There are so many things that we could have done to have tempo. Cool. So we will place influence. 1, 2. Is that better? What does that do? That gets us 2 VPs, whereas Italy's just better. Place influence. That gets us 4 VPs. And then one more ops point can go anywhere. I think nowhere makes a difference.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear
No.
down this wall.
Alright, we'll just go 1 to Taiwan. Very good. That's the game, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. A very exciting bonus turn at the end of that game, which you didn't expect, but there you go. GG to our opponent. That turn 10 hand, which turned out to be a turn 9 hand, was pretty good. What else can we say about that game? Where did it turn? I think this was obviously a pretty bad hand for them, that turn, and a pretty strong hand for us, and I think that's where it really turned. Like, up until here, this Asia scoring was actually really important too. I think the jamming that we did to make sure that we took North Korea was actually pretty good. Or was that the other turn? That was it the Usuri turn, or was it that turn? I can't remember. I can't recall. But anyway, whenever we did that, I think it was that turn because we knew Asia scoring was coming. I think we had ABM on Pakistan, and then we jammed for North Korea, and then got a really good Asia scoring, and that brought us back because they got up to something like 16 or something points, and then it took us back to 6, and then we were able to consolidate this turn, not with scoring cards, but with board position, and then this turn, that South America scoring really was, I think, the nail in the coffin for them, as well as our very, very strong hand. We got Hunter a couple of times. I think we had ABM twice. Like, we got very lucky with the cards. They had ABM once. We had Brush War. We had Hunter twice. We had ABM the second time. So, very lucky with cards. Well played to our opponent. And thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.